with this new alternate timeline being a 50-50 probability, um, it's hard to make predictions because things are changing all the time. And we're feeling it at an individual level without having the words to put on it. So for me, it would be like in a given day, especially since 2020, the last 5 years, I would have one day where I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm alive on this planet. Look at that flower blooming. I'm so grateful. Like, I'm watching my child grow up. I'm smelling the fresh air. Like, everything's just great, right? Like, nothing could go wrong. And then the next day I get an email and I'm just plummeted into whatever it may be, victim or judgment or anger or projection, which is experiencing that lower vibrational frequency. So we've been ping-ponging back between the new Earth and the old Earth, one old timeline, lower frequency timeline, and a higher timeline since 2020. And so there's a lot to unpack there. But what's exciting about 2026, okay, is that we're finally stabilizing the highest timeline, which is allowing us to anchor in more of that unity consciousness, more of that higher frequency, now more so than ever before.
I definitely want to dive more into 2026 and what's coming up, but also I wanted to reflect at this juncture that you used to, and this is like 2020, you've been doing this for a long time, even though you're quite young, you've been doing this for a long time. And you used to, when you future cast, see or remote view or however you want to, like you said, language here or there, as you would look forward, you would actually see quite apocalyptic, like you would see a lot of apocalyptic scenes, but then you'd also see a lot of utopian scenes. And it was almost like there was multiple timelines laid out in front of you. The inspiring thing I heard you say recently is like, now when you go forward, you actually don't really see apocalyptic scenes close to, if at all. Maybe I shouldn't just say, but can you tell us more about like what's going on there and just bring us into your worldview? Because I think that's really really cool to hear you saying that.
Okay, so this is interesting, and this is going to actually explain why a lot of remote viewers or psychics make these incredible predictions and then turn out to be wrong. Okay. So, based on the frequency that you're in as a remote viewer or as a psychic or as a channeler, you're tapping into the collective timeline that resonates with your frequency, right? So that's correct for them. And that's the thing. Like there's nothing, like there's no such thing as wrong. However, for me as a remote viewer, I recognized this right away a long time ago. And I realized that the only place to observe the future from is 0 point neutrality. It's objective observation. It's neutralizing my own frequency so that I'm not tainting what I'm seeing or limiting the scope of what I see. Therefore, I see multiple things. It's hard to nail down. However, one of the biggest predictions that I saw for 2026 was a mushroom cloud. It looked like a nuclear bomb going off. And that's something that I saw in that old frequency timeline. And then likewise, I saw a radically different timeline where solutions to plastics, solutions to the environment, solutions to homelessness, solutions and cures to disease, not all at once, but really starting to shift and change the narrative into this direction of that higher frequency where everyone is provided for. And so these two things are concurrently existing at the same time. And so one of the things that I saw as well is that there's going to be a lot of people making this prediction that they're seeing the end of the world, that they're seeing the apocalypse, that they're seeing this mushroom cloud. It's Christians, it's spiritual people, it's psychics, it's random everyday people who have these vivid dreams that the world is going to end in this way. And so technically what I've talked about before is that yeah, absolutely. There is an end. There's an actual physical kind of death, implosion of the world as we know it. But there's nothing to fear because that's just simply one timeline. I mean, think about it, right? However old you are right now in the present moment listening to this, and there's an infinite number of timelines that exist in every single moment. there are an infinite number of timelines where you've already died multiple times before, and yet you're still existing here. So it's like the apocalyptic sentiment and the feeling, the true, real feeling that a lot of people are going to experience in 2026, like the world is about to end. Um, that's very real, but it doesn't have to be your reality. You can shift those fractals, those soul fractals, over to the new Earth timeline.
Sorry, just to interrupt there, just before we get into shifting, sorry.
Yeah.
To get a bit Jungian for a second though, in terms of people seeing those timelines and seeing these mushroom clouds, there is a question that emerges in terms of how much of that timeline are they actually metabolizing in their dream state to clean and process it out so that we don't actually have to step into that timeline. Is that a worthwhile question? Is that a thing?
That's a really good question, and it just opens up this whole other pocket, right? Because
Sorry for interrupting.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
man.
I love it, and I won't go too deep into it, but so I'm teaching people right now how to do things in a quantum space without having to move through time and space to do them, okay? I'll give you a very simple example, all right?
Nice.
Um, the other day, I had a meridian right here in my third eye, and it was, like, pulsing, and I just felt all this energy build up. Maybe to someone else, they would call it pain or a headache or whatever, tension headache, and, I know that in acupuncture, if you were to put a needle in that meridian, it would release the energy. And so what I did was I put, an energetic needle, like, in my forehead to release the energy, and immediately I felt the relief from that. Likewise, I had a stuffy nose the other night, and I was gonna reach for my peppermint essential oil, and instead of doing that, I decided to take the frequency of peppermint and start putting it on my face to the point where my eyes started watering without ever having to actually apply the essential oil. So it's fascinating when we get into the quantum world and we start working with it at an energetic sense without having to move through time and space. That being said, yes, the actual timeline, the collective timeline where the world explodes from a nuclear World War III warfare, absolutely that exists. I do believe that it's possible to observe and neutralize and filter, but they're probably just observing and neutralizing and filtering that timeline for them individually. But collectively, it still exists because every collective timeline does exist for the entire planet indefinitely. So then we get into the concept of NPCs.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of NPCs before?
I have, and I have like a trigger around it because I feel like all life is sacred, and so because it
Yes.
implies that there are people
Yes.
that are just here that are just
Yes.
empty, hollow shells and dummies, and
Yes.
I'm like, surely
Yes.
that can't be the case.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Okay, me too, right? So, a couple years ago, right, TikTok was trending with like hashtag NPC, and everyone's texting me about it, and I don't know
You're
what
gonna have to
this
break
is.
down the acronym for some people
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely, I will, yeah. And so NPCs, like, it's, non-player characters, okay? And this, like, originates from video game lore, I guess. And essentially, when you're playing like an open world video game, you have computer players. They're not manned by anyone behind a screen, they're just generated. And they have limitations, but they kind of walk around in this open world, but they're not essentially conscious or active from a player, right? Non player characters. They're just there to interact, for you to interact with the world. So people started talking.
Enriching the experience of the protagonist
Yep,
ultimately, right? So the
yep.
protagonist can get what it needs to on the quest or the mission that it's on in the game. Touchwood.
Exactly, right? Now, I'm all for, like, this world being a simulation and a video game, which is a whole other concept, that I love diving into, um, but it just didn't sit well with me, you know? And so I spent some time meditating on this because I'm like, I get it, right? I get that there are people who are like, "Come on, like, wake up, like, what how are you not aware of this stuff?" Right? Um, but I also have never interfaced with anyone who didn't have a soul. I just could not, from every angle, from every past life, from every extraterrestrial I've spoken to, you every living thing has to have a fractal of source. It has to exist. So, yeah, it was kinda irking me for a while. Finally, I made this realization within my understanding of quantum mechanics and timelines. So, get this, and take it or leave it, right? But, um, If you think about the soul being an amalgamation of fractals, right? And different fractals being in different timelines. We're not just one thing. We're not a linear thing. We're not even a duality thing. We're a multifaceted thing.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.